Welcome to this segment of We're the We and We the People. My name is Tom Summers, and today we're in the courtroom of the old State House here in Dover, Delaware. The government of Delaware today operates under a constitution that was written in 1897. This is the fourth constitution in the history of the first state. All these constitutions came about at critical times in Delaware and/or American history. The first constitution was written in 1776 in response to America's Declaration of Independence and the need to implement a new state government quickly. Other state constitutions replaced this one in 1792 and 1831. The 1792 state constitution was in response to the U.S. Constitution having been created. Likewise, the 1831 Constitution was a result of a fiscally conservative time period in Delaware history. While an unsuccessful constitutional convention took place in 1851, the 1897 state constitution came together after the city of Wilmington saw tremendous population and industry growth. In addition, the Republican Party had begun to be a force again after a long period of dominance by the Democrats in the post-Civil War era. The party had recently gone through turmoil due to the Republicans' split over J. Edward Attucks, a Republican from Pennsylvania, who moved to the first state in order to basically buy a Senate seat. The split in the GOP was a major factor in the creation of the lieutenant governor's position in the new Constitution, as well as the state constitution's change to the line of succession to the governor's seat. For the 1897 state constitution, the Constitutional Convention, consisting of 30 citizens, all men, 16 Democrats, and 14 Republicans, met in a building on the Dover Green beginning on December 1st, 1896. This group, consisting of the same number of men who ratified the U.S. Constitution in 1787, hammered out a new state constitution over the next 6 months and adopted the new document on June 4th, 1897. Key changes were made in the 1897 state constitution. A Supreme Court was created. The county tax payment as a prerequisite for voting was eliminated. A board of pardons was established. Inclusion of an incorporation law, which has become a cornerstone for bringing significant revenue to Delaware, was established. Some of the other changes to be found in 1897 include the term of judges was reduced from life to 12 years. Clergymen could now run for office. They'd been banned previously. The lieutenant governor position, as mentioned before, was established starting with the 1900 election. This change meant that the Speaker of the House and the Speaker of the Senate were removed from the line of succession to the governor's chair in case there was a vacancy. The Senate's membership for each county was raised from 3 to 5. The House membership was raised from 7 to 10 in each county. There were still some issues for the city of Wilmington. The city had double the population of Kent and Sussex County combined, but it was still represented by only 2 senators and 5 representatives. It was determined in this new constitution that future legislation could only become law after a 2/3 vote of 2 successive legislatures. Voting districts were established in each county in 100. In the 19th century, it wasn't uncommon to have all 3 senators in Sussex County come from the same town. It had occurred as recently as the election of 1896. One unique change in the 1897 Delaware Constitution was that a divorce no longer had to be granted by the state legislature. If you compare the U.S. Constitution and the Delaware Constitution of 1897, you'll quickly see a major difference between these 2 important documents. Structurally, the Delaware Constitution has 17 articles, which we will address later. It was most recently amended in 1995. While amendments to the U.S. Constitution list each amendment separately at the end of the document, the Delaware Constitution incorporates each amendment directly into the main body of the document. Instead of simply looking at the end of the Constitution to see if there has been any changes, an individual must check through the entire document and compare it to previous versions to see what changes have been made. Delaware is unique and as the only state in the United States does not require popular approval in order to adopt constitutional amendments. In addition, Delaware law does not allow initiatives or referendums at the state or local level. As defined in Article 16 of the Delaware Constitution, the document can only be changed in these three following ways. Number one, the Delaware General Assembly can amend the Constitution. Unlike in every other state, the Delaware State Legislature can amend the state's Constitution without a vote of the people. In order for the legislature to amend the Constitution, 2/3 of all the members elected to each chamber can vote in favor of the proposed amendment. In order for the legislature to amend the Constitution, 2/3 of the members to each chamber can vote in favor of the proposed amendment. The Delaware Secretary of State then needs to publish the proposed amendment or amendments 3 months prior to the next general election in at least 3 newspapers in each county. After that, the subsequent General Assembly then votes again on the proposed amendment, and if the amendment receives a 2/3 approved of all members of each chamber, it becomes part of the Delaware Constitution. The second way that the Delaware Constitution can be changed is through constitutional convention. The third way is by a 2/3 vote of both chambers of the state legislature. The question, shall there be a convention to revise the Constitution and amend the same, can go on a statewide ballot. If a simple majority of those voting on the question vote yes, then there will be a convention. Let's take a look at the Delaware Constitution from 1897 that continues to serve our state today. The preamble states that through divine goodness, all men have by nature the rights of worshiping and serving their Creator, according to the dictates of their consciences, of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring and protecting reputation and property, and in general, of obtaining objects suitable to their condition without injury by one to another. And as these rights are essential to their welfare, for due exercise thereof, power is inherent in them, and therefore all just authority to the institutions of political society is derived from the people and established with their consent to advance their happiness, and they may for this end, as circumstances require, from time to time alter their constitutional government. Now what follows is the 17 articles, and to review each one of these. Article 1 establishes the Bill of Rights for the citizens of Delaware. Article 2 establishes the legislative department of government. Article 3 establishes the executive department of government. Article 4 establishes the judicial department of government. Article 5 provides information on the election process and the qualifications for voting. Article 6 provides information on the impeachment process. Article 7 provides information on pardons. Article 8 provides information on state revenue and taxation process. Article 9 provides information on the limitations and rights of corporations in the first state. Article 10 deals with education. Article 11 sets up a Board of Agriculture. Article 12 establishes a state Board of Health. Article 13 focuses on a local option. What this means is that each election district is given the right to decide whether alcoholic beverages can be sold in their district. Article 14 provides the form used for the oath of office to be taken by public office holders, including members of the General Assembly. Article 15 is titled Miscellaneous and includes such information about chancellors, judges, and the Attorney General being conservators of the peace throughout the state, receipts to be provided for fees paid, court costs not to be paid by the defendant if they are found to be not guilty. No citizen shall be prevented from holding public office because of their sex. Public officers must behave themselves in office. Article 16, as we mentioned earlier, describes the process for amending the state constitution. And Article 17 describes the continuity of the state and local government in emergencies from disasters due to enemy attacks. In conclusion, while the current Delaware State Constitution is not a perfect governing document, no document is, the 1897 Constitution has continued to serve Delaware well since the adoption in an era before the automobile and the telephone were part of everyday life here in the first state. While the world around us has changed dramatically since that time period, socially, culturally, politically, and technologically, this document has been an important part of those changes and our overall life quality here in Delaware. Thank you for your time.